Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my about me and about my fitness journey video. So let's just go ahead and jump into this video and get started. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie Reed. I am 31 years old. I was born and raised in Texas. Whenever I was growing up, I did gymnastics and cheerleading and cross country and track. And I wasn't ever like really amazing at any of these, but that's kind of like what started my love for fitness and health and just being active and doing things that challenged my body. I think that's why I always really liked gymnastics, because the flexibility aspect of it and then learning these skills, that was always fun for me as a kid. And then I went into doing like more long distance running, and I found that long distance running for me is just kind of very therapeutic. I enjoyed being outside, I enjoyed going on long runs, and that's something that I still do to this day. I really do enjoy going on long runs. So after I graduated high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't want to waste my parents' money on college, so I joined the Army. I spent 4 years as a combat medic. I was lucky to get stationed in Hawaii, which was a dream and so much fun. I spent 15 months overseas in Iraq, and I served half of my deployment on convoys, and then the other half of my deployment working in our level 2 hospital. So all of that was a really good experience for me. It was a great way for me to kind of grow up quick, because I was pretty young whenever I deployed. I was only 19 years old. And being over there, you know, there's not really like an outlet. You're just there and you have your team of people, you have your friends that you make, but you're always working. So one thing that I found was, for me, going to the gym, that was kind of my outlet. And then the more often that I started going, I realized how much I really enjoyed it. And then I started learning more about, I guess essentially bodybuilding. I would start researching things through like Oxygen magazine and Fitness RX for women. Those were some of my favorites whenever I was over there. And I also took it upon myself to start learning more about anatomy and physiology, more specifically towards like sports and exercise science based. So while I was there, I also had the opportunity to work with our physical therapist, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do whenever I got out of the Army. I wanted to go to school to be a physical therapist. So that's kind of where my weightlifting journey started. Was while I was in Iraq. I saw major changes in my body once I started lifting weights. I think up until then I was really only doing a lot of cardio, and then whatever we were doing in the military, like body weight type exercises. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too, was one of my greatest accomplishments while I was in the Army was I went to airborne school, and so I'm airborne qualified, which means that I am able to jump out of planes with a static line while I was in the Army. And I only went to the airborne school. My unit wasn't an airborne unit, but that was probably one of the most physically demanding things that I had to do while I was in the Army. And so that's another thing that I really enjoyed. I like pushing my body to limits. I like seeing what I'm capable of, and anytime that I try to pursue another goal, I kind of look back at some of those old accomplishments and realize, like, that's pretty cool. You know, I push my body to do that. Of course I can push my body to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do next. So I've basically been weightlifting since I was 19 years old. When I got out of the Army, I was coaching youth gymnastics while I was earning my degree. I started off as a physical therapy major, and then I decided to switch over to nursing, mainly due to time. Physical therapy is a doctorate program, and with nursing I could earn my degree with a bachelor's degree. And there's so many different fields in nursing, and that's what I currently do now, and I really love it. It's very fulfilling for me, and it's definitely very health-based, so I like that aspect of it. So fast forward a little bit, I got out of the Army and I moved back to Texas. I started going to college at University of Texas in San Antonio, and then I married my best friend from middle school and high school, and he was in the Marines at the time, so I moved out to San Diego to be with him. I finished my degree there. We had our first son, in San Diego, and then we decided to start traveling. And fitness-wise, through all of this, I was always still active. I was still going on runs. I think my weightlifting kind of would ebb and flow. Just kind of going through nursing school, it was hard for me to really commit to the gym and commit to nursing school. So I was working out, but not as hard as I was while I was in the military or before I got married. And this is also like the time when I found yoga, which was such a great time in my life to find yoga because the stress of nursing school was a lot, and yoga was a great stress reliever for me. And also being pregnant with my first kid, yoga is so gentle and it's really recommended. So I thought that that was a great outlet for me as well. Let's see, after we got done traveling, we decided to settle down in Texas because this is where our family is. And we do like this state. I definitely miss San Diego a little bit, just the weather there and being outside, all the pretty places that there are to go hiking. We love Colorado as well, so maybe one day we'll kind of end up back in the mountains, which would be fun. But we moved back to Texas and I got my first job in nursing. I worked at the intermediate care unit, which is like an ICU step-down unit. We do have some pretty critical patients, but not exactly ICU. So I did that for a year and a half. And then I had my second son and I decided to stay at home with him. That's whenever I really dove deep into my yoga practice and I launched my company, Stay at Home Yoga. I'll put in the website down here if you want to check it out. So I became a certified yoga teacher. I teach yoga online right now. And it's been a fun project for me. I really enjoy sharing my yoga practice with people and just kind of health and fitness in general. So what got me into bodybuilding was whenever I was 19 and I was deployed to Iraq. I remember they had a bodybuilding competition while we were there for our servicemen and women, and it was called like Mr. and Mrs. Camp Taji. And I saw some of my friends do it and I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't know that you could do this. And I was really into like, researching about bodybuilding, learning how to lift weights, learning how to grow and shrink different parts of your body. So this was a goal of mine that I had had since I was 19. When my son Wyatt turned a year old, I started going back to the gym pretty regularly. And then I kind of got to this point where I was like, why am I not doing this yet? It's been 12 years, I want to do this bodybuilding competition. And I kind of felt like in the meantime there were so many odds against me. I was still stuck in, well, I should have done it when I was 19. I was in one of the best shapes of my life. Like, why didn't I do it then? I'm old now, I have kids, it's harder on my body, but if anything, that was just more of a challenge for me, and I accepted that challenge. And I'm so happy that I did my first competition. If you look back on my previous videos, you'll kind of see my experience with it. And just to kind of show you like my physique, I guess, I'm 4'11". A healthy weight for me is in between 105 and 110 pounds. I've been up to 125 pounds like before I had kids, when I was going through nursing school, and even before I deployed to Iraq. I remember just kind of going on like binges where I would just like eat like a whole pizza. I don't know why. Maybe I thought whenever I deployed to Iraq, like I'm not gonna be able to eat. So I was just kind of like enjoying all this food before I left. And then of course while I was deployed and I got into fitness, I dropped all the weight. I got down to 105 pounds again, which is very healthy for me. After I had my first son, I was sitting around 135 pounds for a while, and it took me a while to get back down to a healthier weight. I did get back down to about 105 pounds after I had him, and then the same thing after I had Wyatt. Both pregnancies I weighed about 150 pounds, which is a lot of weight for me. And then after I have my babies, I'm usually about 135, and then that's kind of whenever I have to like bring my weight back down. So I definitely understand what it's like to gain weight. I haven't always been really petite or thin. So I want you to know that if you're kind of on this weight loss journey too, that it's totally doable. And if you're worried about like some of the extra skin that you have after having a baby, once you start lifting weights and you start dieting properly and you start losing your weight, your skin does go back. Maybe it won't go back completely, but if you look at your belly and you're like, oh my God, like this is just a wreck, it's never gonna go back, trust me, it does go back, and it all works out. So don't let that deter you from your own fitness journey. I'm gonna keep this video kind of short. That's kind of just me in a nutshell. If you have any questions or if you want to know anything else, please just leave me a comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you hear more. I have kind of a big life decision coming up and I want to share it with y'all. I want to share the process with y'all. And I guess I'll just kind of include it in this video, or part of it, because it is part of my fitness journey and my about me. When I was 20 years old, I got breast implants. I thought it was a wonderful idea at the time. I didn't really know much about it. I just knew I wanted bigger boobs because while I was deployed and I lost a lot of weight and I became pretty muscular, I lost my boobs too because breast tissue is mostly fat. So coming back from Iraq, I really wanted boobs. I had another friend who wanted to go get them done too. So we went together on a Saturday and I got breast implants, and then I was back to work in the Army by Monday, which is not smart. You need to take your time off to recover from that. Anyways, I've had them now for over 10 years and I'm at a point in my life where I want to get them removed. So I'm gonna do another video talking about my breast augmentation, talking about the process of the surgery, what the recovery was like for me, what it's been like to have them for the last 10 years and have them while I have had kids, while I've nursed kids, why I want to get them removed, what health complications I've had, and what's kind of leading me to this choice to get them removed. And I feel like it's a big decision because in the sport of bodybuilding, a lot of women do have breast implants, and it's kind of part of like the look. So there are a lot of feelings and emotions around that for me going into this sport, very new, wanting to do better, and then now wanting to get my implants removed. So I will do another video about that if y'all are interested. But that's it. That's me for now. Make sure you go check out my other videos and make sure to check out Stay at Home Yoga. If anything, go to the website, sign up for the email list. I send out free content, and then you'll just kind of see what's going on with Stay at Home Yoga. So, all right, thanks guys for watching. I'll talk to y'all later.